everyone, my name is Vina, aka Miss WOCReader, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've talked about my bookish pet peeves. I think I didn't do one last year, so there's some things I just want to complain about for a little bit, so I figured I'd come on here and let you know about my bookish pet peeves, and you can share yours in the comments section down below. One of my first ones is wealthy characters. Everybody is wealthy now in books lately, and it is so boring. And I've talked to like some Black authors, and I know their rationale is in the past, and I'm talking about in the very past because it's not in the recent past, that a lot of the Black book characters were from lower income backgrounds. They were poor, and that's the image that was being presented. Like, I get it. Some of you guys did not grow up poor, so you want to show people that not everybody Black is poor. But a lot of y'all just grew up regular middle-class suburban, and you guys are writing these characters that are wealthy. There's a difference between regular suburban and wealthy, and you're not really capturing the wealthy characters well. You're telling me they have money, and you're showing me they have money by the material things they own, but you're not doing a great job depicting the wealthy society that they are supposed to come from. And again, the dynamics are boring. You're just keeping them very perfect, very clean cut to show me that these are people with money, but I want to read some messy characters. I want to see characters who maybe aren't working the job that they want to work, that have to struggle just a little bit to get the things they want in life and don't have everything handed to them. I know especially in YA, I noticed the disparity because we don't have a lot of books aimed at Black children who are lower income. I don't see a lot of books for them with characters that look like them, and if there are characters that look like them, I feel like that is part of the plot of the book, that like it's a kind of reminiscent of that special episode on a sitcom back in the day where it's like, I'm going to tell you about how poor they are and how that is a problem. And I'm like, there's just some people who maybe aren't like wealthy or who aren't middle class, but they're still living a decent life. So I would just like to see that more in books, a little bit less of the wealthy characters who can buy anything they want, and some more people from different income backgrounds. I complained about this in a video I did last year, talking about colorism in Black fantasy. Definitely check out that video if you haven't already, but I'm so tired of the ambiguous love interest. And it's getting worse and worse. I don't know who is convincing these authors that they need to write this, because it's not readers telling them to write these characters. Like, is it the agents? Is it the editors? Or are they just automatically doing it thinking that's what they need to do to get their book out there and to have it appeal to the widest audience? Because I literally picked up a book the other day where the male main character was actually described as racially ambiguous. And I'm like, nobody goes and it's like, look at that racially ambiguous man over there. Like, what are we doing here? And it's interesting because I see people talk all the time about when white women do it, especially white women writing fantasy and these ambiguously brown characters, and they're not quite sure of the race. And for some people, they feel like olive, red, very deep tan skin, and like what olive actually means and what dusky means, and and how these characters tend to just really be like dark white people. And white also is not just Anglo. I feel like we're not bringing that up in the conversation enough. Like, white doesn't just mean super pale, blonde hair, blue eyes. You can be a more tan skinned person and be white. But I'm finding a problem where we're getting these very vague descriptions of characters. I particularly noticed that I'm seeing some Black authors write these characters that could be coded as maybe South Asian, maybe Middle Eastern, maybe Pacific Islander, maybe Latinx. You're not even sure. The names are vague. Their background isn't outright stated. we're just supposed to make assumptions and it's not being defined. Like, Latinx is not a race, and there are various countries that make up Latin America with people of all different backgrounds. So just putting them under one wide umbrella is the racist thing the United States do, but that's not how it actually functions in the real world. So I need people to be clearer and stop patting themselves on the back for writing these racially ambiguous characters too. Write who you want to write. If you are determined to write a white man, just write him. Just write him. Because also, the way in which some of these books are being marketed lately also bothers me. I will see books marketed as if they are blackety black. They make sure to emphasize this is a black FMC, but are very vague about the male main character. They're very vague about the other characters in the book. That's a red flag for me. Or they will emphasize that there's a black cast, and even sometimes the fan art that the author has commissioned makes you think that it is a black cast, and then you get into the book and there's this one other person where it's like, why are they even here? So I'm tired of the ambiguous men. It is very racist, and we need to like actually be clear cut about this is what background my character comes from. Because if you're actually calling yourself a champion for diversity, that's the bare minimum that you need to do. I'm over special editions. I still like them when they're done well, but these first print ones, they're no longer special because so many books are getting these special editions and they all kind of look the same. And with them making it first print, it makes the cost of the first printing of the book higher, and it's like, I know the publishers are trying to make you have that FOMO so you go out and buy it so you're not left out of the conversation, so you have this pretty trophy. But a lot of times people are buying this like trophy for their bookshelves and they're never reading it. They're never having a good discussion about it. We're just supposed to be like, oh, look at this pretty book here. And I want special editions to mean something. I want a full redesigned cover. I want the special edges. I want the end paper. I want the works. And I find that we're not getting the works. We're kind of just getting some sprayed edges and like a basic cover, and then we're supposed to feel special that they imprinted something on the hard cover itself. And also, I want more of these special editions to be available when the book's been out for over a year, because you have these different book boxes commissioning different special editions, and I'm like, okay, I know, I understand, get money, but you're not giving people a chance to read it. I don't want to spend $40 on a special edition, and I've never read the book. I've never read the author because they're a debut. Maybe this is their first time writing in this genre. I don't know if I'm going to like it. And then if I spend that money, because that is a good amount of money, especially in this economy, and I hate it, I'm going to be very upset that I wasted money. So I haven't been buying any of these special editions because I want to get the chance to read this author first, see if I like their work, see if I like this particular book, and I'll probably like wait it out for a cheaper version when they're done with those first print special editions, and then see if maybe somebody who did buy the special edition is selling it on sale or anything. But I just cannot, like, with these special editions for every single book, because once every book is a special edition, nothing is special anymore. One of my pet peeves when I'm reading is the wacky timelines. So I hate the books where about 6 months worth of drama happens in less than 6 weeks. When you have those books that are supposed to be going across a timeline of 7 days, but a month's worth of drama happens. I get that part of the selling point is, oh, it's a 7-day period and this, and this happens. All of that cannot happen in 1 week, and it kind of pulls me out of the story. And I don't just see it in fantasy, I see it in contemporary all the time. Like, there are naturally those stories you're going to expect a short timeline, like Christmas romance, for example. It's hit and miss for me because it often takes place between that period of time right after Thanksgiving and leading up to December 25th. Sometimes I wish that the main characters would meet in the fall and then just slowly get to know each other, and then we hop into the thick of it when it comes to the holiday season, to give more time for their relationship to develop and make me really believe in their happily ever after. Because I'm just like, you guys met each other maybe 2 weeks ago, and I'm supposed to believe that you are ready to be with each other for the rest of your lives. It kind of takes me out of the fantasy of it all, especially if it is those books that are set in December and our Christmas romance. Like, we didn't really get any time to know each other between the hustle and bustle of the holiday season. But I just see it with so many books where we're supposed to believe that all these great encounters happened in a short amount of time. I've seen it in these dark academia books where they could have stretched it across the whole semester, where it would have been at least 3 months, but they're trying to tell me all of this happened in September, or all of this happened in October, or the timeline is just really murky and unclear. It feels like we've been at this for months and months, maybe almost a year, and it's really been a few weeks. Dark academia, where the female main character is between 18 and 22 and fucking the professor. I cannot stand those books. I am so tired of that narrative. It actually feels like more of a male fantasy, but it's not the men writing it. It's women writing these stories. That's what is the most alarming to me, that so many women are making this their go-to instead of actually exploring the power dynamics within academia. Who gets to actually shape the space, who gets the jobs, who gets in certain industries, the economic disparity for people even being able to go to college. We end up focusing on hooking up with the professor, where I'm like, where are all these hot professors at? Because when I went to school, the professors were like older and gray and not attractive, the majority of them. You had some younger ones here and there, but I feel like most of the younger ones also weren't trying to risk their job to get involved with a student. You have to put in a lot of work to go to school. You're not coming out of school usually like 26 and hopping right into becoming a professor. Yet a lot of these books, it's like the very young, hot professor. People don't really talk about the age gap when it comes to these books too, because if he is a younger professor, he's got to be 30 and above. You're pairing him off with like this 18, 19, 20-year-old who is inexperienced and just learning things out in the world, trying to find their footing by themselves, but they're not fully by themselves because most people are somewhat still dependent on their parents during that time, living with their parents when they're not at school. It's very weird. It's almost grooming feeling in a way, and I feel like a lot of these books are not acknowledging the disparities there, like the power imbalance. Even if the characters were the same age, which they really are never are, there's still an imbalance when somebody holds your future basically in their hands because they're the one giving you your grade. And it's just like murky when it comes to that trust that you are supposed to have with an authority figure, which, if these stories were actually exploring that and not romanticizing that, I could get behind, but normally it's just romanticized, and it's quite honestly boring when everybody is doing that same type of story. Lack of developmental edits when it comes to books. This is a huge problem right now in publishing. It's one thing for there to be lack of developmental edits in indie. People don't have the money for that. They are self-funding their own projects, but in publishing, when you have these big corporations behind you, there should be more time to really develop these stories. And I feel like authors' careers are being hurt right out of the gate because of lack of developmental edits. people are coming with a really interesting concept, but they don't have everything in place for this concept. They have, okay, these are the characters, they're basic archetypes of the characters, they have the aesthetics of what they're supposed to look like, but their plot might be paper thin. They don't have it fully figured out yet, and their characters could use a little bit more depth. Normally, a developmental editor would be there to help you figure it out, like, who is this character really? Like, what exactly are we trying to say in the book? But because publishing is such a rushed process lately, while also being long at the same time, it's very weird because a lot of times it'll take like 2 years to get the book out there, but within that 2 years, the author isn't just solely working on that one book. They are usually working on a second book. They might be sending books to multiple publishers. It's not often just like we are just hardcore working on making this book the best it can be for 2 years. It might take a long time between them getting edits. There's a lack of communication with editors because editors are working on too many different books at once. So even though it's like a longer turnaround time compared to indie, it still doesn't feel like these books are getting developed enough. And there's just so many books in the past few years, like especially since I like to call the after 2020 release period, where I'm like, this could have been amazing. This would have been a 5-star book if only we really sat there and gave it another round of edits and worked on it a little bit more to tighten things up. And also on the writing tip, I think that too many books nowadays overuse similes, and overuse cliches. When I was in college, my first semester, and I took a writing class, we were taught to not use a bunch of cliches in our writing. We really had to develop our writing voice without relying on these overused phrases. And that helped a lot. I find that advice has gone by the wayside now, and I pick up books of these new authors and it is cliche after cliche. It is lines that they read in other books and they thought were cute, so they've added it to theirs. There is a heavy overuse of similes. Everything doesn't have to be like something else, and it's stuff being compared that just makes no sense. These aren't everyday phrases you would think about, and it takes me out every time, especially if it is a book set in the modern day. I'm like, that is something you would never automatically come to your mind in this scenario. It's like they'll be like butter on toast, and it has nothing to do with anything that would make you think of butter and toast. And I'm just like, for why? It makes it so much harder to read these stories because there's just an overuse of too many descriptions, too many comparisons. Sometimes it's okay to just have things said straightforward. I think for my last one, this is more aimed towards like the readers and reviewers. I am tired of hearing people complain about books being in third person. This is a thing that I've really noticed because of Book Talk, and mostly in the past year, where I'm reading reviews and people are like, I just couldn't get into this book, I think because it was written in third person. So books are often written in third person. This is not new. Yeah, there are books written in first person that is mostly YA. I get for some people they have never picked up adult books before and they're just now getting into it. But it's just weird because when you're reading a book, you shouldn't even really be noticing if it's in first person versus third person. If you are, it's because you need to self-insert yourself all the time, so you need it to always read I, or the author is just that egregious that you're noticing every little thing about the writing. But you should just be like able to lean into the story and follow this character's journey. But there are a lot of readers now who grew up reading like the Twilights, where they need to be the main character and they have a hard time putting themselves in another character's shoes. They need to be the star of the movie. It is really weird because then also it affects how people read books that are by non-white authors, because I know for people of color, we are used to not being the main character, and we can have that distance from the main character. A lot of people, because they're so used to reading these white books, they always see themselves in the main character. You shouldn't have to see yourself in the main character to enjoy a book. And usually when I see these people who are doing their reviews and they throw in that it being in third person was like something that bothered them, when you see the other stuff they're complaining about, it has nothing to do with the book being in third person and everything to do with bad writing, and the bad writing ties back into lack of developmental editing. So those are just a few of my bookish pet peeves. Let me know what your bookish pet peeves are in the comment section down below. Or if you are not sure what to post, leave me a book emoji. If you like this video, make sure and hit that like button. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!